Kimberly Calderbank for Community Cultures, and if you're from the Burlington area, you know exactly where we are today. I'm standing here in front of Rebecca at the Art Gallery of Burlington. They're coming up to their 50th anniversary, providing community programming and a beautiful space for the residents here in Halton. Joining me at the Art Gallery today is the Executive Director, Emma Quinn. Emma, you have been in this role for just over a year now, which is exciting because it brings a new vibrancy to the Art Gallery. It's not the Art Gallery that we used to know here in Burlington. What has changed at the Art Gallery?
Oh, I would say that we're really about opening our doors wider now, trying to bring in a bigger and more diverse audience. You know, the Art Gallery has had some pretty good celebrations. This year it was our 40th anniversary of collecting Canadian ceramics. In 2 years it's going to be our 50th anniversary. But we really have to think about the next 50 years and not the past 50 years. And I think we've really held on to traditions, and that's wonderful, but how do we break those traditions? How do we innovate? How do we create for the future? And I think that's what the Art Gallery of Burlington is setting itself to do right now.
It's interesting when I speak to other moms or other families in community, they talk about the classes and the camps and all the things that their kiddos come to. And everybody seems to, who has grown up in Burlington, have an Art Gallery story or remember coming here with their families. What does that look like for the neighbors and community members to come into the gallery?
Absolutely. I mean, I have that story. I grew up just up the road and I attended classes here, and I think that is so important. You know, we're committed to lifelong learning. We're committed to making sure that there's programs for kids and for youth, there's programs for family, there's programs for adults. It really is about lifelong learning. And you know, the Art Gallery is barrier free. There's no cost to come in here. We have programs for sure that have a cost to it, but we also have barrier free programs. We really want to give everybody an opportunity to get in and experience creativity, to get connected with art, to engage in dialogue. I think art galleries build social connection. They give a place for people to come together and share in ideas, but really it's about human creativity, and that's really at the core.
We're in the Fireside Lounge at the Art Gallery, and joining me is the Chair of the Board of Directors, Susan Busby. Susan, what inspired you to join the board here at the Art Gallery?
Well, I'm a really passionate community volunteer. For the last 20 years, I've been involved in a lot of different areas in the community. The hospital, Nelson Youth Centers, the Halt Learning Foundation. But I've always had a really special spot in my heart for the Art Gallery of Burlington. I started coming here to visit and take classes and shop in the wonderful art shop. Buy very special things there, probably way back when I was in my 40s. So when I had the opportunity recently to get involved with the board, I saw it as another way to give back to my community, and I really love being here. It's great.
What type of roles or what would the board do here at the gallery?
So probably the most important role that the board has at the gallery is to hire an exceptional leader. And we're feeling really, really confident in Emma, who you've recently met. And we've worked collaboratively with her over the last year to create a new vision and direction for the Art Gallery of Burlington. And that included bringing in all kinds of people throughout the community. That included artists, patrons, donors, politicians, members, so many people that came and participated in focus groups and sessions where we discussed what it is that the Art Gallery of Burlington means to the community and where we need to go in the future. And all of that has rolled up into a new strategic plan that we're very, very excited about.
So that's exactly my question to you, Susan, is the show is all about community cultures and what community really means to people. And the Art Gallery here in Burlington is such a special community on its own. What does being part of this community mean to you?
Well, there was an amazing community here almost 50 years ago, a group of potters, weavers, rug hookers, painters, who really felt that it was important to develop a place in Burlington for arts and culture, for makers to get together. And those people advocated and raised money to build this facility, and we're forever grateful to those people. But Burlington for sure has a large percent of its population which are seniors. And so now, 50 years in, Well, those people built this place. It's time that we pick up the torch and involve younger people and move it forward and make sure that it's relevant to a younger audience and to a more diverse audience. Because Burlington certainly has changed a lot in 50 years, and it will change a lot as we go forward into the future.
We're in the gallery here at the Art Gallery of Burlington, and joining me is Suzanne Cartt, the senior curator for the gallery. Suzanne, can you tell us a little bit about the space we're standing in right now and what we can see here?
So this is the Lee Chin Family Gallery. It's the largest main gallery space that we have in the facility. This is where we dream big. This is where all of our large-scale installations come into play. So this is the Weight of Clay. It's the 40th anniversary of our permanent collection. We have the largest Canadian contemporary ceramic collection in the world.
Wow.
And this is a small selection of the work. In fact, there's 40 pieces.
Okay.
So it's 40 works by 40 artists spanning 40 years. And it really pulls out all the relationships across the country through generations of clay makers and theorists and educators, all found in this space here through our archives and through the donors as well. We have such a beautiful donor base here at the gallery who've shared their work with us.
So I'm going to let you in on a little secret. I don't know too much about art, and I've never really learned about art. So if I come to the gallery as somebody who doesn't know much about art, and this is a new space to me, what does that feel like, and how can I learn, and how can I engage my family more?
Well, that's the beauty of this space too, is it doesn't come from an authoritative position. You can enter into any space and feel welcome, and you don't need to know a lot about art to be able to engage. We have family programming where it's a participatory model of education, across generations again. We have the Living Library, which is the space in the front of the gallery where there's always something to do, make, and see. And we have artists from across the country, again, that are represented within that space. They give you a bit of like visual prompts and how you can use it as a common space. And then we have our exhibitions, which focus on artists, emerging artists, mid-career and senior artists, as well as artists locally, nationally, and internationally as well. So this is a space where we provide information. Learning is at the core of what it is that we do. Education is through exhibitions. It's a tool of learning. It's not a space directed or it's a space that's made for us to learn together.
We're in the Perry Gallery at the Art Gallery of Burlington, and joining me is Akash, an emerging artist here at the Art Gallery. Akash, tell us a little bit about this incredible space we're standing in right now.
Yeah, so my installation it takes space and really I think transforms this little cube. So the project is about the moon and using it as a metaphor to understand navigating life and the world we live in. So I'm often looking at the phases of the moon as a semblance of change and the repetition of change that often happens in our lives as we move through it. So a lot of the work is dyed in indigo and uses techniques like shibori and batik, which is wax. So that's how I'm getting the hands and the moon in the sky. And then I hand wove this and hand stitched the costumes.
Wow.
Was able to get a grant from Canada Council, so commissioned some woodwork to be done to carry the pieces. And so my vision is kind of setting a temple for the moon, and these are moon dancers, and kind of that's the scene that the viewer would walk into.
There's this energy in this space, and you sort of feel that through the gallery, but specifically in this room, it just sort of feels like this wonderful warm bubble almost. And I was saying to Suzanne, everybody feels art differently and understands art differently. And it's a community, if you will. What does being a part of this community mean to you, Akash?
Yeah, I think being a part of a community in the arts or just in the public is important to me in a way of world building. Because I often think when you world build alone, we often end up in the world we live in, which right now we're an ecological disaster. There's a lot of, you know, talks of money and class, and I think that's often when one person or one type of person is building the world. So to be able to install this and have people come in and be a part of it and have their own interpretations of whatever they come across, and hearing some of that feedback from the gallery has been amazing. And even being in a space outside of Toronto where I work out from, and having reached a new city and having new interpretations of the work has been really important to me, and getting that feedback.
Michael is a volunteer and a member here at the Art Gallery of Burlington. Michael, you were mentioning this is a new experience for you. You've become a recent volunteer. What inspired you to join as a volunteer here?
When I visited the facility the first time, I was just overwhelmed and amazed by not just the art, I mean the art's the obvious, it's beautiful, but by the teamwork and the camaraderie amongst everyone, and it's mostly volunteers. So I personally believe in, you know, being a part of the community, sharing in the community. So I had no hesitation to be a part of this because I love art, and art is a large part of my life.
We talk about community often, and of course this show is called Community Culture. So that's what it's all about, these little pockets of goodness, or pockets of people that come together to create sort of their own space in community. And that's exactly what the Art Gallery feels like to me. Can you explain what the community here feels like to you?
Community here feels, for me, from my own experience, it contributes to the overall good, as you just mentioned. There's just so much within art within itself to learn, from learning to expressing yourself, oneself. You know, for me, it's a wonderful thing. I like being around like-minded people, of course, you know, but also learning. It's also always a learning experience. You never stop learning, whatever you do. Whether it's, you know, the paintings or the acrylics or any of that nature, or even for me, photography, you just never stop learning.
The Art Gallery of Burlington truly is a space for everybody. Welcoming, barrier-free, and so much to see. If you haven't been before, you definitely need to check it out. And if you've been before, there's so much more to experience. For Community Cultures, I'm Kimberly Calderbank.